Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram. Om Badram Karne Bishrunuyama Devaha Badram Pashyemakshabirya Jatraha Sthirairangai Stushtovagam Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishanemihi Swasti no brahaspatir dadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho bandhaya vishaya saktam muktam nirvishayam smritam. In the verse number 16, we saw the practice of Om as a means to quieten the mind as well as go beyond the three states of experiences. Shabdaksharam param brahma tasmin shine yadaksharam. Shabda aksharam. That is the sound symbol of Brahman, Om. That is Param Brahma. In the Vedic times, they did not have any Murti Upasana. Fire is used for as a Devata for all the rituals. Om is not for rituals. And fire is essentially a conveyor of your offerings to Bhagavan or the gods. Agre nayati iti agnihi. Agre in the front, nayati leads iti agnihi. Meaning what you offer is being carried away by this Lord Fire towards the gods whom you are worshipping. And one thing about fire is it doesn't keep anything to itself. It is burnt, but the essence is taken to the gods. So Pitru Karyani, the offering that are offered for the Pitrus who are in the world of means, so to say, they are offered to water. क्यों? वो नीचे जाता है, goes down. Whereas Bhagavan or gods you offer goes up. Nietzsche does not mean wrong or anything, but they are still in the world of rebirth. Potentially, the rebirth is there. Pitrus can potentially be reborn again. So when you are offering to the Pitrus, you do through water. Water always goes down. It never goes up unless you pump it up. Whereas fire never goes down. Fire is always up. So symbolically, fire representing anything that is higher, and water is anything that is of the lower nature, comparatively. Whereas worship of God is not Bhagavan or Upasana, so to say, not worship. Upasana is always with sound, Shabda. Especially when it comes to Brahma Upasana, Atma Upasana. The one sound or sound symbol that can elevate the mind is Om. Shabdaksharam Param Brahma. But even any sound, any support is dependence. What we want is independence. So any support is dependence. The Om is called greatest support. Om iti edadaksharam Brahma. That is Paramashrayam, it is called. That is considered as the greatest support. And why it is greatest support? Because it doesn't have a physical form, only sound form. I remember once in, which is the city? Starting with Cincinnati. Long time back, I was invited by the people who were building a temple there to go for the inauguration. So I went there, and it was a what you call multiplex temple. What do you mean multiplex temple? Shiva is also there, Vishnu is there, Ganesha is there, Kartikeya, Hanumanji, Ram, Krishna, everybody. So they were, so each one was sponsored by one person. So that person was standing there, and then the Prohit was chanting mantras, and then I was holding the, the ribbon or whatever it is. So then I have to give it to those Ejamans, and they will cut it. So opened. So one by one. I was a little curious. The main deity, whatever it would be, it was not opened. And I could see all have completed. First started from Ganesha and this and that, and everything is over. Hanumanji is also. Hanumanji is the last one you do. I was curious, what would be the main deity there? Shiva is over, Vishnu is over, Ram is over, everything is over. So then I secretly asked the main person, no, what is the deity there? Swamiji, it's a surprise. Okay, that would be. So then one person came, he was the main sponsor of the temple. So Swamiji, he is the main sponsor, he sponsored the main prakar. Okay, I was a little more curious. What is it going to be? I gave the scissors to him, and then he cut the ribbon, and the curtain opened. Om symbol. Only Om symbol. This is the deity? Yes, he is from Arya Samaj. So he wants to sponsor only that. But I said, Om is not worshipped as a deity anywhere. But Swamiji, he is the main sponsor, so what can we do? I don't know whether the temple is still there or not. Those who are in Cincinnati may probably find out. So, Om is not worshipped as a physical symbol, it is only as Shabda. Shabdaksharam Param Brahma. But as we saw in the last class, Tasmin Kshine, Shabdasya Kshine, not Brahmana, Brahma Kshine, not Brahman has become Kshina, no. Shabda Kshine. So, Tasmin Kshine, when the utterance of Om has been slowly reduced what happens? Yad aksharam. Now the aksharam, the word twice it is used. Shabda aksharam and then yad aksharam Brahma. Edad ashrayam param. The ashraya, the support is great, but ashridam, because of which you are taking the support, for which you are taking the support, that should be kept in mind. So, tad vidwan, aksharam vidwan, Brahma vidwan, dhyayed aksharam. Let him meditate upon Brahman, not anymore the aksharam. Yadiched, if one seeks, desires, shantim atmanaha, atmanaha shantim yadiched. Now, as we see, as we chant the Om, there is a vritti that takes place in our mind. It is to replace all other thoughts that are there. Various other thoughts are there in our mind. To replace those thoughts with one single thought, as Sri Ramana Maharshi would say, japa is to replace many thoughts with one thought. So when you take up Om, you are replacing all various other thoughts that arise in your mind. All are replaced by only one. Om. As you chant, that vritti takes place. Then again, Om. Om. So then slowly, between the first thought and the second thought, maintain that inner silence and understand that is what is an indicator to the silent presence of Turiyam, Chaturtham, Brahma. So support of Om is only to show what is not definable, neither by sound nor by any form, Nama and Rupa Rahita Paramatma. That which is there present as the awareness, which is the support of all thoughts. Because we are so preoccupied with our thoughts, we don't pay attention to the support of thoughts. Like you are sitting there on the floor, and you say floor is that which is supporting you. No, existence is what is supporting you. That existence, we don't see it as a physical form. We only see the earth. But where is earth? What is supporting the earth? Suspended in the middle of nowhere. You know that you're all suspended in the middle of nowhere, all of us. Buildings and hills and mountains and rivers and trees and what not. Where? Where are they? Supported by what? Satsvarupena Paramatma. That one is supporting it. So that we don't realize. So that Satsvarupa Paramatma is the same substratum which supports our thought also. Chidrupena, Satrupena. As existence, it is supporting the physical existence of ours, but the thought is supported by the Chit, the pure consciousness. So therefore, in our life, we need to learn two important kind of knowledge. Duramete viparite shuchi, it is said in Upanishad. Two different paths are there, different kind of knowledge is there. Vidya cha avidya. Vidya and avidya. So therefore here, in this also, as it is given in Mundaka Upanishad also, that is a repeat of the Mundaka Upanishad, first line. Verse number 17. Dve vidye veditavye tu Shabda Brahma Param Chayat Shabda Brahmani Nishnataha param brahmadi gacchati. Dve vidye veditavye tu shabda brahma param chayat shabda brahmani nishnatah param brahmadi gacchati. Dve vidye. Vidya become vidye in dual number. So, dve vidye veditavye, to be known. To indeed. One is Shabda Brahma and Param. Shabda Brahma and Param Brahma. Now, when in the Turiya state, when a person is contemplating upon one's own nature, before we go into this, there are 1, 2, 3, I've written 6 steps to this. First one is, as we sit down, because we are very busy, we are doing so many things physically. So first thing that one has to think about, contemplate on, is Naham Deha. I am not the physical body. Meaning what? I have, but I am not. Second one is Idam Deham Na Mama. That is very difficult. Naham Deha, Mama Deha is easy. I am not the body, but I have the body. Little better. I am not the body when you say, then who are you? I have the body. Oh, so accept, at least you have the body. Even that then you won't even take care of it. Right? And Aham Deha is where we are occupied completely. But no, slowly from Aham Deha, Na Aham Deha, Mama Deha. This is the first step. The second step is Idam Deham Na Mama. This physical body is also not mine. How? Prarabdhasya eva. ये प्रारब्ध है ना, उसका है, कर्म का है, मेरा नहीं. Because see, any moment when we are looking at our physical body as mine, then karma is also yours only. Karma phalam, that karma when I hear meaning, karma phalam. That is the reason why we are not able to detach ourselves from the prarabdha karma, because we are saying it is me who is suffering this the consequences of my actions. We cannot detach and say action is now expressing as result. Detachedly, we are not able to look at it. We are only looking at it as my action, result of my own action. I am suffering. एक कर्म जो फल दे रहा है वो अभी हो रहा है. Whichever be the action, the result of which is happening, we are not able to see that. We only own it up. Because you own the body, then you own the karma phalam also. So, idam deham nama. Third one is, why am I that so connected to this physical body? Because manovrittireva deha. Manovrittireva deha. My body is a thought. And this thought repeats constantly. I am the body is a thought that never stops. So that is the reason why people like adventures. You know, when they do great adventures, dangerous adventures, they come to have the fear. I'm going to die. Something will happen to me. And then they realize it's a thought. Why am I having this thought? This thought is not true. So when they enter into this dangerous such adventures, they are trying to conquer that thought. Actually, this is what said first time when David Hillary, what is his name? Edmund Hillary, right? Hillary. When he was climbing the Everest first time, he said, when I reach the top, I did not conquer the mountain. I conquered my mind. Because it's a mind that was creating such a fear. It is not possible. You will die. I conquered that mind by conquering externally, the climbing the mountain. So many times when I go to my doctor's office, sometimes I get lucky with the nurse, sometimes I don't. They start searching for my nerves. It gives really nerves breaking for me. Where the blood is. Dr. Shashi knows that. Some of them are very good. Straight away they get it. Some of them will they put a butterfly or something, they search. Where is it? Ayyo. At that time I say, Anaham deha, idam deham na mama. That is the only way to overcome this. Because such a pain it is. I'm not the body. This body is not mine. What are you saying? You keep doing. Idam deha. So manovrittireva deha. That's why when it's small children also, we try to distract their attention. Gili, 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 gili. Why? When you are putting the injection or something, that fellow should not remember that this pain is there. You know? Day before yesterday, I was with the dentist and he had to put some, for filling something. Yeah, he has to put an injection. So I always tell them, make it very smooth and proper. Sometimes they try to put here. I say only you are allowed one or two only. Don't try here and there. So he knew. So he didn't even show me that, what he's taking. Swamiji, how are you nowadays? This loudly he said, how are you nowadays? It's So what happens? Even the children also, we distract their attention so that they will, gone. Afterwards you cry. I have already completed the job. So why are you distracting attention? The thought should not be there. This is going on. No, it's going to be poking in. Manovrittireva deha. Body is notion of I am the body is a thought. Then fourth is Atma Chalanam Manaha. What is mind? Atmanaha Chalanam. We have seen this. Movement of consciousness is called mind. Is mind a vritti, a thought? What is a thought? An appearance of consciousness in a limited fashion, connected to a particular object. So when I'm looking at a flower, the consciousness associated with the flower becomes a thought. Consciousness associated with the sound becomes another thought. This apparent association of consciousness with an object creates a vritti. So that's why we saw chalanam manah. That's why chanchalam hi mana krishna pramadi balabadrinam. Arjuna says movement is uncontrollable. So atmanah chalanam, atma chalanam eva manaha. So this is the fourth. So when you are contemplating this, this is how you move on from one layer to another. Naham deha idam deham na mama manovrittireva manaha. Manovrittireva deha atma chalanam manaha. Then fifth one is chalanam tu mithya. Chalanam hai kya? As we saw, this firebrand, when it is moves, it creates an appearance of movement, a circle, whatever. Chalanam mithya. Because consciousness cannot move, because it is of all-pervading nature. Where does it move? It's like space is moving. Oh, space movers. You might have seen some truck going. Actually, they are not moving the space. They are moving the house, moving. In the truck, they carry things. So that is space movers. You cannot move space. Similarly, here, chalanam mithya. In other words, mana mithya eva. So because atma jana chalanam mana, chalanam mithya. So conclusion is what? Mithya rupam hi mana. So, but then finally was nischalatma eva aham. That's a fine. Aham nischala atma. So come to a point of stillness. This is the 6-step process. Naham deha idam deham na mama manovrittireva deha atma chalanam manaha chalanam hi mithya nischala atma aham. So this is how one should maintain the stillness of the mind, not the mind, stillness of one's own nature. So this knowledge is paravidya, higher knowledge. All other knowledge which is there are of the nature of connected to something or the other of the world. That's why dve vidye veditavyetu param cha aparam cha, what is that? Shabda Brahma param cha yat. So here the Shabda Brahma represent all knowledge that has name. All knowledge that has name is called Shabda Brahma. So some of them have physical form, like the world of things. But if I say, think about anger, what comes to your mind? The angry face of my husband, Swamiji. No, so anger does not have a form, but has a name. Anger, name is there. What is it? Tell me, show me. Is it a physical thing? Like Swarga as Narga also. You know Swarga and Naraga, there hell and heaven, etc. But does it have a physical form which you can think of? So, name, all knowledge that has name as is the Shabda. That's why it's called Shabda Brahma. Not Rupa Brahma is not given. Shabda Brahma. So that Shabda Brahma is Aparavidya, lower knowledge. And Paravidya neither has name nor form. So that is why in Mundaka Upanishad said, Dve vidye veditavyeti hasma yad brahmavito vadanti paracha eva aparacha. In Mundaka Upanishad said, it is Paravidya and Aparavidya. Now it is said here, Dve vidye veditavyetu Shabda Brahma paramchayat, Shabda Brahmani nishnataha. Nishnataha means one who has become an expert. Expert in the Shabda Brahma, meaning during those times, all the Vedic literature, one who has become adept in that. See, the word sna is to sink. Snan karna means kya? Snan karna means dubo. In water, you, what do you call? Dumki lena. Dubki. Dumki nahi dubki. How do you in English mein kya hai? Submerge. Dip. Yes, dip. So, sna in Sanskrit means, sna means snanam karna. But sna means to dip. Nishnataha means one who has dipped into the world of knowledge. One who has become dipped means is filled with that. When you take the idli and then dip it in chutney, then what happens? You become fully saturated with chutney. Or they take the vada and dip it in sambar. Nishnada vada. Sambare nishnada vada. Chatno, nishnada idli. So it's filled with that. So nishnada means one who has become filled with that knowledge. Shabda Brahmani nishnataha. One who has become an expert. And it is said, only such a person who has understood the end of this knowledge. That is called Vedasya Antam Yah Janadi Sa Vedanti Bhavati. One who understood the end. End means what? What it cannot further go. Ved ka jo तीर है और का लिमिट, उसको पार करना. What can Vedas can take you up to? I want to go beyond that also. That's why it is said, the real mumukshu is one who has the vairagya about all the rituals, even if it is prescribed by the Vedas. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamaya nasti akrita kritena tad vijnanatam sa gurumevadika ched samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. He understood the limit of karma, because Vedas are about karma. So that he said, akritam kritena na sambhavati. That which is uncreated cannot be a product of karma. That which is uncreated, uncaused, cannot be caused by action. I want to know that uncaused, uncreated, everlasting, eternal, independent, free. Therefore, one who has understood the limit of Vedas alone can really aspire for true moksha. Whereas what happens is, there is a part of us still believes, I think worldly thing is also important, Swamiji. That also side by side ले जाएंगे. कर्म भी ले जाएंगे और ज्ञान भी ले जाएंगे. शंकराचार्य न karma jnana samuchayam na sambhavati. We saw in Ramagita also. No way you can combine this. But we have a soft corner for karma. We'll continue. But one nishnataha means what? Not only an expert, he has understood the end. He said, this will not, this much it only it can go. Traividya mam somapa bhuta papa. Yajnairištva swargadim prartayante te punyamasadya surendra lokam. Having reached there, enjoying all the effects of his karma, punya karma, then he says, I'm done with this. Shine punya matya lokame vishanti. So Bhagavan very clearly said that unless you become Vairagya Purusha, about even that also, then only you will be able to understand the effect of Vedanta. So Tatra Apara, what are the Apara things? Mundaka Upanishad says Rigveda. What are the lower knowledge? Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, Siksha, Kalpo, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandas, Jyotisham, Iti. This Upangas, Upavedas also. All these are all lower. Parayayacha aksharam adhigamyate. What is paravidya? Yaya aksharam adhigamyate. By which the unperishable, imperishable can be known. That is called paravidya. So, why it is important for one to, as I said, for him to understand the limits of Vedas before he goes into Vedanta? As he said in Jantonam Narajanmadurlabamada Pumsam Tato Viprada Tasmat Vedika Dharma Marga Parada Vidvatvam Asmat Param. After that only Atman Atma Vivechanam Swanavavu. He says that having understood the requirement of the study of Vedas only to discipline a person to turn himself towards the religious goals, we cannot, from worldly goals, we cannot suddenly move into the spiritual goal. Very, very difficult. So first, to turn your attention towards something you understand, admit higher than you. That's why Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya and such other people, even though they understood that final moksha does not have any physical form or any kind of an externality, but to turn the mind's attention from a person who is worldly towards something which is imperceptible is hard. There should be a via media for that. Turn your attention from the worldly, perishable things to imperishable as a God. And let us understand. If you understand the tattva of the Bhagavan, you will reach moksha. To just leave the worldly things and suddenly to turn around towards moksha, then there must be a great tragedy might have happened in your life. Then only you will do that. Otherwise, the mind will not get the Vairagya. Yatate moha kalilam buddhir veditarashyati tata gandhasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya. Bhagavan Krishna says very clearly, Yatate moha kalilam prajinam santarish. Yeah, when there is a mind which is filled with all kind of things, I can go here, I can do that, this and so, therefore, Shabda Brahmani Nishnatah Param Brahma Adhigachati. This does not mean that, oh, I am Swamiji, I have never seen, I don't even know how many Vedas are there. You're talking about Nishnata. I can take Snana every day. So that's why Gurudev and such other people have come directly to say that, and even knowing that, you coming to know about the limits of this Vedic knowledge, after study of whole thing and then getting ready for service. That's why Shankaracharya said, which is followed by Gurudev also, if you have the faith in the words of the Guru, then you need not go through all that thing. If you know smoking is cancerous, do you have to smoke and then you come to know about that? At the end of your life, lungs are gone. Now I understand you should not smoke and die. Why don't you listen? It's written there also. You don't even read that? Bhagavan Krishna himself says that don't go in that way. Why do you need to? Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. Traigunya vishaya vedaha. Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. Well, nothing. These Vedas are talking about only 3 gunas. What should be done when you are tamasic? How to go to rajas, from rajas to sattva? What you should do? Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. So those who have the complete faith in the Guru, then they need not go through this process of studying all these things and then come to know, okay, no, this is the limit. I've told you this before itself. So, Shraddha in the Guru Vakya, more than the Shraddha in the Shastra is important. Because Shastra also study only to, it's impersonal, right? Study of Shastra becomes impersonal. But there is a person who has gone through that and then understood and then tells you this. A alive being is telling you, no, I'll believe in the book. Okay, go inert, study. So that is why Shabda Brahmani Nishnadaha Param Brahmadi Gacchati means what? A person who has understood the limits of the Vedic teachings, which are only for highest even the gain of Brahmaloka, Jivan Mukti nas labhyate tasya. He will not get that Jivan Mukti unless he has Paramartha Jnanam, supreme knowledge of the absolute reality. So what is para? Ata parayaya yatadaksharam adhigamyate. Mundaka Upanishad says that is which by which you know yaya vidyaya aksharam adhigamyate. So the movement from Shabdakshara to Akshara, the word Brahman to Brahman, this movement is very important because even the word Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, is still Paroksha Jnana. Sakshat Jnanam is not, it is Paroksha Jnana. Para Aksha Jnana, according to somebody. It's not mine. So from movement to kshara, akshara, shabdakshara to akshara. So I have again 3 points I have put here. From the names and forms, attention should be turned to the substratum in Vyavahara Bhumau. In the transactional world, one should again and again bring the attention away from the varieties of names and forms to common element, existence. As I said earlier also, chair exists, carpet exists, table exists, this room exists, I exist. To come to a point of I exist, my existence is primary for me to realize the existence of anything else. It is not because I say chair exists, therefore I exist. Sorry, sir. Something wrong in your thinking. I exist because there is table that exists. Is it so? I exist because computer exists. How ridiculous it is. Do you think an object's existence is the cause of your existence? Any thinking person would say no. Okay, now tell me. Deha asti tasmad aham asmi. Is this also correct? Jatavat, ghatavat, deha drishti. If you understand the part exists, therefore I exist, it's so ridiculous. In the same way it is to say, body exists, therefore I exist. So when you start seeing dehamabi kadavat pashyati, one also sees that like the part which is made of matter, so also this body, because of this is also made of matter, then only understand that existence does not depend upon the body. This is the first step. That is Vyavahara Bhumau in the world of transaction. Second, only when that is to some extent understood, then only he can go from symbol called Om, Shabdakshara, to what is indicated by the symbol Akshara. Shabdakshara we said. So first one is Shabdakshara to Akshara, what is said. From the names and forms, you go to pure existence. The second one is from the sound of Om, you go to what is indicated by that sound. This is called Sadhana Bhumi. Sadhana Bhumau in the practice of sadhana, practice of spiritual, any kind of discipline. And then one should go to the third point, seeing oneself as no name or form. Dhyana Bhumau. That's why we say, Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham. So that is Aham, me, when I refer, I am not referring to my body or the name by which I am known. The Dhyana Bhumi. So, Vyavahara Bhumau, in this state of Vyavahara, one should understand the common element called existence and not distracted by names and forms. Then in the Sadhana Bhumi, one should move from Om to the what is indicated by the Om, which is Turiyam. And then further going deeper into that, there one understands the one's own nature, which is without name and form, Dhyana Bhumi. So I thought of an example here, like a person who is listening to a music. So somebody is singing. But one who does not have knowledge of music, what does he do? Like a child is there, 2-year-old child or 1-year-old. It will really create its own song now. Because it has no connection with what is going on there. So it cannot appreciate what even that person who is the best of the singer. But the child who does not have that connection or the link between the event and himself, what it will do? It will totally detach and it will do something else. Most people are like that. When the music is not understood, they get bored. like me. I go to sleep actually when I hear, especially the music which has a lot of alapana. So when I start to learn music, what is that I learn first? Swaram, Tala, Laya. So slowly when I start understanding, they first begins with Tala. Some people who would have no sense of Tala at all. They are called Vedalas. Singing is going on, Tala is somewhere else. I mean, many people don't understand that. The Tala is a very crucial point. If you miss the Tala, the thing won't fall in place. It's like syntax in a software. If you don't know the syntax, what will you write as a software programming? If you don't know syntax and then you keep on writing like English, nothing will happen to the computer. It will just sit there, watch you. Because a computer cannot understand your language. You have to learn its language. I'm going to write my software only in Malayalam. Hurry. It has its own language. You have to understand its language. Similarly, to understand music, first thing you should have the sense of beat. Because otherwise it may become unbeatable. And I have been tortured by people who don't have tala sense. And then comes a raga. Oh my God. You become virag. When you hear them, viragi bhavas. It goes up and down somewhere. Raga, Tala, Laya. These are all basics. I have not learned proper music or anything, but I know what it means. When somebody puts a wrong tone, I know that's wrong tone. Somebody sings not correctly, I know the wrong has gone wrong. And when somebody sings it exactly to the point of Tala and Raga, the emotion is different. You cannot replace that emotion at all. Because you know that person is exactly what he's doing. So, in the same way, even when the children are learning music, the teacher teaches this Tala and then Raga and Laya, etc. Many of these people, the youngsters who are in the second generation of Indians, when they sing all right, but they don't know the pronunciation. Many times that is another major issue. Pronunciation they don't know. Because they write in English and read. They don't know the Hindi or Sanskrit or Tamil or Malayalam in which that composition has been. In Telugu, they write in English. And so, Rama, 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 Ram. I mean, we can understand the bhava, of course, but Rama will wondering, who are you calling? Arjuna, Krishna. So, that Akshara, pronunciation of Aksharam is very important there. Only when you understand the word, then you understand the meaning. Only when you have the meaning of the word that you utter while singing, you have real bhavana attached to it. Even when you're singing a Tyagaraja Kirtana or any other, when you do not know what is emotion with which he's singing, what is he referring there? Not just the music sense. Tyagaraja did not start with music. He started with his bhava, correct? He started with his bhava. What is that I want to convey? My emotion I want to convey. And therefore, I'm using these words or language to express that. And through that, the music, it will be easily reachable in that way. So what is important here then? Raga is necessary, Tala is necessary, Laya is necessary, Akshara is necessary, and then Aksharasya Artha is necessary, and then comes Bhav. Finally, you reach the Bhav. Once you reach the Bhav, you are one with that very composer. You know what he really felt that way. In the same way, Om as a letter or a sound, and slowly understanding Om as the indicator of Brahman, which is indescribable, yatad adreshyam agrahyam avarnam achakshusrotram tadapanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam. Then you move from mere utterance of Om or the sound of Om to the very essence of that, and you get into that mood of what that really that is, and which I am. So Brahma adhigacchati, Shabda Brahmani Nishnada. So that Param adhigacchati, Yaya Aksharam adhigamyate. That is called Para Vidya. Is Para Vidya itself is Para Bhakti also. Because once you recognize that oneness with that one, how can you not have emotion? You think about yourself, don't you have a feeling for yourself? Huh? Are you dry? So when I have feeling about myself, the love for myself is filled with emotion only. That's why when somebody says wrong about me, I feel very agitated. Why? Because you are emotionally connected to yourself or not. If you are not emotionally connected to somebody talks ill of you, you don't care. But we do. Why? Don't you ask, what do you think about me? I don't think about you. Very bad people. Why are you saying that? Your connection with yourself is filled with emotion. And you can never deny that. I mean, you may not be connected to anybody else. You may not have emotion with anyone, but with yourself. So the same way, that very self cannot but be a very seat of all emotion, love and bhav. So Brahma adhigacchati para bhakti eva para vidya. That supreme knowledge is equal to supreme reality, is supreme emotion, love also. That's why Narada Bhakti Sutra, what is it? Bhakti to Parama Prema Rupa, the nature of supreme love. Because our love for ourselves cannot ever be denied, nor even questioned. Cannot be questioned, never denied, never rejected or ignored. All right, so continuing on that, we'll just see the one verse and then we'll conclude here. Grantamabhyasya medhavi Jnana Vijnana Tatparaha Phalalamiva dhanyarti Tajed Grantamasheshataha Grantamabhyasya medhavi Jnana Vijnana Tatparaha Phalalamiva dhanyarti Tajed Grantam Asheshataha. Medhavi Jnana Vijnana Tatparaha Jnanamabhyasya. A Medhavi, a person who has Medha Yasya Asti, the Medhavi. One who has the ability to retain the correct knowledge. Medhavi means Medha, retention power. That's why Smriti is different from Medha. Smriti is remembrance, Medha is retention. We may remember, we may forget also. Like for example, children who learned this Bhagavad Gita chapter, whatever, next week you ask them, forgot. They might have remembered for that particular occasion. Chapter 2 of Swamiji, my child knows. Reverse. Okay. After 1 week, come and chant. Forgot. Why? Because only for that occasion. So you can learn, forget. And learn, forget. That is our smriti. But medha is where you dha. It is constantly upholding. Dharati. It is constantly remembering, and therefore it can never forget. It is a retention. So Medhavi Grantham Abhyasya, having studied the scriptures, even spiritual scriptures, Vedanta also, Jnana Vijnana Tatpara, the one who has kept used the Jnanam, what he learned, and Vijnanam, having made itself as his own experience, having kept Tatparaha. Tatparaha meaning one who has kept the highest release or freedom as the reason for learning, not just learning for the sake of learning. Tatparaha, mokshaparaha. Such a person, what he should do after study? Chodo. This is the only way, it is the only scripture in the world, I'm telling Upanishad, which can say this. Padliya, yes, throw away the book. Rakho ape. After you study and understood, it is of no use to you. To you, it is of no use. And no other religion can really say this. So it is said in Vivek Chodamani also, Avijñāde pare tattve shastrādidistu nishpala. Vijñādebi pare tattve shastrādidistu nishpala. What does it mean? One who had studied the scriptures but not understood, scripture is useless. One who has studied and understood, scripture is useless. After studying, you have understood everything. Then what is the point in holding on to the book? If you're holding on to the pillow, you're not sleeping. Definitely. If you slept, why do you need the pillow? Pillow is necessary until you go to sleep. Correct. Once you slept, we will remove the pillow. Then thereafter, you don't need the pillow. You are fast asleep. And if you are not sleeping, you hold on to the pillow and pillow. You're not good. What is the use of the pillow then? Your fellow didn't understand that. So in the same way, Phalalamiva Dhanyarti. See, the husk is there. No? Husk is there to protect the rice. Once you take the rice, what is the use of the husk? You have to throw it. You cannot keep the husk. You don't eat the husk anyway. You take the. So Dhanyarti. So one who is seeking the rice should discard the husk. In the same way, one who has taken the essence of the knowledge need no more go back to that very book itself. But greatness of our masters is they use the book to teach others. Because that is necessary. Because that is the best way to they have understood through the scriptures. Therefore, to teach others, they use the same scriptures to teach for others. So they have reverence for that scripture, for what it has done to them. At the same time, what it can do to others too. Therefore, it is necessary for them to use that scripture. So this is the beauty of our Vedanta, that once you have realized, sabko chhod do. There's no need for that. We'll see more of it in the next class. That will be the final class for this academic year. We'll complete this text, that is Amritabindu Upanishad, 2 or 3 more verses. They are only concluding verses. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhaved. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.